Ladies and gentlemen, let's be real. Most people are wasting their damn lives, sitting around, scrolling, comparing, procrastinating, overthinking, doubting, and for what? To feel safe, to avoid failure, to impress people who don't even think about you when they close their phones. You've got one shot at this life. One, and you're gonna waste it waiting for someone to give you permission to become who you're meant to be. Time is the one resource you can't get back, and most people treat it like it's unlimited. That's the sad truth. We live in a world where people act like they've got forever, like there's always tomorrow, like they can just keep pushing off the things they know they need to do. But time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause when you're tired, and it doesn't rewind when you screw up. Every second that passes is gone. You don't get it back, you don't get a refund, and that should be terrifying in the best way because it means every moment counts. But the average person lives like time is a renewable resource. They scroll for hours, binge distractions, drown themselves in temporary pleasures, and then complain that life isn't working out the way they want. They're always waiting for the perfect time, waiting for motivation, waiting for a sign, but here's the reality. Waiting is wasting. There is no perfect time. There's just now. The ones who win in life are the ones who understand that urgency is everything. They move with purpose. They know that an hour wasted isn't just an hour, it's momentum lost, discipline weakened, and one more excuse to stay the same. You don't become great by accident. You don't build something meaningful by showing up when you feel like it. You do it by realizing that time is the most valuable thing you've got, and every minute you waste is a minute you could have been learning, building, growing, pushing, evolving. Think about how easy it is to lose time. A 5-minute scroll turns into 30. A quick show turns into a season. A night out turns into a whole weekend of doing nothing. And before you know it, months go by, then years. Then you're left wondering where all your potential went. Time doesn't scream when you waste it. It's quiet. It disappears without warning, but its effects show up later, when you feel stuck, behind, unfulfilled, when you see someone else winning and wonder why that's not you. It's because they didn't treat time like a joke. They respected it. You've got to get honest with yourself. You're not busy. You're distracted. You're not tired. You're unmotivated. And it's not that you don't have time. It's that you're not making it count. If you knew how short life really is, you'd stop wasting it on people who don't build you, habits that destroy you, and thoughts that hold you back. You'd stop making excuses and start making moves. Time is the currency of life, and the way you spend it reveals what you truly value. So stop acting like you've got forever. You don't. And that's not something to fear, it's something to fuel you. Because the moment you truly understand that your time is limited is the moment you start living like it matters. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Too many people have been conditioned to believe that choosing themselves, setting boundaries, or saying no is somehow wrong. That prioritizing your goals, your growth, and your peace means you're being arrogant or self-centered. But the truth is, if you don't focus on you, no one else will. Everyone's out here trying to make something happen, and if you're not locked in on building your own life, you're going to end up as a tool in someone else's plan. That's not dramatic, that's real. There are people out there who will happily take your time, your energy, your talent, and your potential if you're not using it for yourself. They'll put you to work for their dreams while yours collect dust. They'll keep you distracted, entertained, even emotionally dependent if it benefits them. And all the while, your life, your one shot is slipping by. You have to take control. You have to put yourself first. That doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop abandoning yourself to please them. It means you recognize that you have a purpose, and that purpose deserves your full attention, because no one's going to hand you the life you want. You've got to build it, brick by brick, day by day, and that takes discipline, that takes solitude, that takes being real with yourself about who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to sacrifice to get there. Focusing on yourself is about knowing that you can't pour from an empty cup. It's about creating a foundation so solid that nothing shakes you. It's about stepping back from the noise, cutting the dead weight, and going all in on your potential. You don't owe anyone your energy if they're not helping you elevate. You don't owe anyone your time if they're draining it. You owe it to yourself to evolve, to level up, to become the version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't fade under pressure. And the only way you get there is by choosing you, over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when people don't understand, especially when they don't understand. Because when it's all said and done, no one else is going to live your life for you. No one's going to feel your regrets, carry your what-ifs, or answer for your wasted time. That's all on you. So make the choice now. Focus on yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity, out of self-respect, out of a deep belief that you were meant for more. And the only way you get there is by turning inward, tuning out the noise, and showing up for yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. Distractions are designed to keep you average. Comfort is a trap that kills progress. Look around. Everything is fighting for your attention. Your phone, your apps, the algorithm, endless scrolling, pointless conversations, mindless entertainment. It's all built to keep you numb, passive, and stuck. And most people fall right into it. They trade their potential for dopamine hits. They chase comfort because it's easy, it's familiar, and it doesn't ask anything from them. But that comfort, that's the killer, that's the slow, quiet assassin of growth. You start skipping workouts. You start saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." You start lowering your standards just a little. And then one day you wake up and realize you've been standing still for years. You can't grow when you're distracted. You can't level up when your attention is fractured into 1,000 useless directions. Growth demands focus. It demands intentional discomfort. It demands that you cut out the noise and lock in on what actually matters. But here's the thing. Distractions aren't just external. They live in your habits. They live in your excuses. They show up when you choose temporary pleasure over long-term purpose. That's not an accident. That's by design. The system wants you average. It wants you broke, busy, tired, and too distracted to realize your power and comfort. It's the bait. It's that warm feeling that tells you you're fine where you are, but you're not. You're just used to not growing. If you want change, if you want results, you've got to become ruthless about what you give your time to. You've got to stop negotiating with distractions and start starving them. Turn off the noise, get off the apps, say no to anything that doesn't feed your purpose. Because every time you choose distraction over discipline, you delay your own evolution. You stay stuck at the level you were supposed to outgrow. Distractions don't just waste your time. They rob you of becoming who you were meant to be, and comfort. It's addictive. It's safe. It feels good. But nothing great comes from staying safe. Growth happens in the hard. Progress lives in the uncomfortable. The people who separate themselves from the crowd are the ones who get uncomfortable on purpose, who reject easy, who chase the challenge because they know that's where the real transformation is. You've got a choice every single day. Stay average and distracted, or get focused and grow. Stay in the warm trap of comfort, or break through and build something real. But you can't do both. So ask yourself, what's stealing your focus? What's keeping you comfortable but unfulfilled? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Because until you get serious about cutting distractions and rejecting comfort, you'll keep circling the same level, wondering why nothing changes. The world doesn't owe you anything, but it will give you exactly what you work for. That's the truth a lot of people don't want to hear. We live in a culture that constantly pushes this idea that you deserve something just because you exist, that you're entitled to success, happiness, respect without putting in the effort. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get results just because you want them. You get them because you earned them. Because you showed up, because you pushed when it sucked, and you kept moving when most people would have quit. No one's handing you the life you dream about. It's not owed to you, it's available, but only to the ones who are willing to grind for it. You don't become fit just because you bought the gym membership. You don't build a business just because you have a good idea. You don't grow as a person just because you follow motivational pages. None of that matters unless you're putting in the work. You can wish, hope, manifest, visualize. All of that is great. But if you're not backing it up with real action, it's nothing but noise. You don't get paid for what you say you're gonna do. You get paid for what you actually do. And the world, it's watching. It responds to consistency. It responds to effort. It responds to the person who shows up again and again, no matter how they feel. It's easy to look at people who are winning and say they got lucky, or they had help, or it's different for them. But that mindset will keep you broke, mentally, emotionally, financially, because while you're busy explaining why it's not fair, they're busy working, they're building, they're grinding, they understand the secret, that life doesn't owe you a damn thing. But if you play the game right, if you outwork the doubt, if you drown out the noise and put in the hours, life will pay you back in full, every time. So stop waiting for a handout. Stop expecting people to save you. Stop thinking your background or your struggles are a reason you can't make it. They're the reason you must. You've got to earn your spot, earn your peace, earn your confidence, earn your freedom. That's where the pride comes from. That's where the power comes from, knowing you built it, knowing you bled for it, knowing you didn't wait around for someone to give you permission. This world is brutal sometimes. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your excuses, but it does care about your grind. It does reward persistence. It does honor the people who show up with fire and refuse to be average. So if you want it, go get it. Don't talk about it. Don't post about it. Be about it. Because the world isn't going to give you what you deserve. It's going to give you exactly what you earn. You become dangerous when you decide to level up without waiting for permission. That's when everything starts to shift. That's when the world begins to feel your presence instead of just hearing your words. Most people are stuck in a cycle of asking for approval, asking for advice, asking if it's the right time, and in doing so, they waste their most valuable currency action. The truth is, no one is going to hand you your next level. No one's going to pat you on the back and say, now it's time to be great. You've got to take that moment. You've got to declare that you're done playing small, done shrinking to make others comfortable, done letting doubt or fear make your decisions for you. The second you stop waiting for validation is the second you start moving different. You stop looking around for signs and start creating them. You stop asking, am I ready? And start saying, let's go. That shift is dangerous. not in the destructive sense, but in the powerful one, because now you're not hesitating. Now you're not waiting to be chosen. You've chosen yourself. You've put yourself in the game and decided to earn your place with grit, with focus, with undeniable execution. People get uncomfortable when you do that. When you stop explaining your moves, when you stop checking in for opinions, when you start investing in your growth, showing up differently, walking with confidence, not arrogance, confidence, the kind that comes from putting in the work. That quiet, steady power that says, I've been building in silence, and now I'm here to collect. That's what happens when you level up on your own terms. You stop blending in. You stop playing it safe. And the world starts to take notice, not because you were loud, but because you were consistent. Most people want to rise, but they don't want to leave the comfort of the crowd. They want the results, but not the solitude. But leveling up means separation. It means isolation. It means long nights, hard choices, and doing things that most people won't understand. And that's why it's powerful, because most people won't do it. So when you do, you become a problem, you become unstoppable. You're no longer waiting for the stars to align, because you realize you are the one who brings alignment through discipline, through self-belief, through a relentless pursuit of what's next. This isn't about ego, it's about ownership. It's about choosing to be more, to become more, because you refuse to let your potential rot while waiting for permission slips from people who don't even know what they want. When you step into that mindset, when you go from asking to executing, from doubting to doing, from hiding to rising, you become dangerous, because now the only thing standing between you and your future is the work you're willing to put in. And nothing can stop someone who's already decided to rise. Most people talk about what they want, but only a few shut up and do the work. Be the latter. The world is filled with talkers, people who love the sound of their own ambition. They'll tell you about their big dreams, their plans, their vision boards, their goals for next year. They'll talk endlessly about what they're going to do, how they're about to change, how success is just around the corner. But when it comes time to execute, they vanish. They disappear into the comfort of routine, the same excuses, the same distractions, because talking feels good. Talking gives the illusion of progress without the pain of actual effort. But the real ones, the doers, they're not interested in putting on a show. They're not worried about announcing every move. They are not trying to convince you of their potential. They're out proving it in silence. They don't need applause. They don't need permission. They're too busy building, too locked in. While the talkers are busy impressing people with their words, the workers are out there stacking results. And those results speak louder than any speech ever could. You've got to decide which one you're going to be. The person who always has a story about what they're going to do, or the one who's out there grinding while everyone else is still talking. One of them gets remembered. The other just gets ignored, because eventually people stop listening. The words lose power, and if there's no action behind them, they mean nothing. But when you show up consistently, when you put your head down, focus, and outwork the noise, people know, even if you don't say a word. The work is the difference maker, not the hype, not the potential, not the plans, the work, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the discipline to keep going when motivation fades. That's what separates you. That's what builds real confidence, not the fake kind that comes from likes or validation, but the deep, unshakable kind that comes from knowing you're doing what others won't. If you want to win, shut up and do the work. Let your results speak. Let your consistency talk for you. Let your discipline scream louder than any post or promise ever could. Because when it's all said and done, no one remembers what you said you were going to do. They remember what you actually did. Be the one who didn't need to talk about it. Be the one who just showed up, delivered, and kept moving. Be the one who proved it in silence. Be the one who gets it done. The grind doesn't care how you feel. Show up anyway. That's the part nobody wants to hear. Everyone wants the results, the success, the respect, but they think it should come wrapped in motivation, energy, and perfect timing. It doesn't. The grind is ruthless. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't slow down because you're tired, and it definitely doesn't stop because you're not in the mood. It's always there, always waiting. And the ones who win are the ones who show up regardless of how they feel. That's the real flex. That's what separates the top from the average, not talent, not luck, but consistency in the face of resistance. You're not always going to feel like doing it. Some days you're going to wake up exhausted, unmotivated, drained, maybe even doubting everything. But those are the days that count the most. Anybody can show up when it's easy. Anybody can work when they're fired up. But real growth happens when you drag yourself through the hard days, when you grind through the mental fog, when you train, study, build, create. Whatever your path is, even when everything in you says, not today. Because that's how discipline is built. That's how mental toughness is forged. You don't become elite by skipping the uncomfortable moments. You earn your edge by embracing them. The grind is cold. It doesn't care if you had a long night, if your friends are out partying, or if your emotions are all over the place. None of that matters. The grind demands your effort, not your feelings. And when you learn to disconnect your actions from your emotions, that's when you become unstoppable. Because now, you're no longer a slave to mood or motivation. You've built the habit of showing up. You've trained yourself to move forward no matter what. And over time, that stacks, that compounds. That's what turns average into elite. Not giant leaps of motivation, but relentless, quiet consistency. You've got to kill the mindset that says, I'll do it when I feel like it. No, you do it because it needs to be done. You do it because your goals don't care about your comfort. You do it because future you is depending on present you to stay locked in. That's the difference between wishing and winning. Wishing waits, winning works. So when the alarm goes off and your body wants to sleep, get up. When the grind feels repetitive, lean in. When your mind starts feeding you excuses, shut them down with action. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're not just making progress. You're building something deeper. You're building self-respect. You're building identity. You're proving to yourself that you're not driven by mood, but by mission. And that mindset, that's rare, that's powerful, that's what sets you apart. So no matter how you feel, show up, not because it's easy, but because the grind doesn't care. And you're not in this to be comfortable. You're in this to conquer. Your circle and your habits either feed your future or starve it. Choose wisely. The people you surround yourself with and the routines you live by are shaping you every single day, whether you notice it or not. There's no neutral ground. They're either pushing you forward or pulling you down. They're either sharpening your edge or dulling your drive. And most people sleepwalk through life without realizing they've been living in an environment that's been choking their potential for years. They hang around energy that drains them. They cling to comfort zones disguised as friendships. They follow habits that keep them small, distracted, and stuck. Then wonder why nothing changes. Look around at your circle. Are these people building, evolving, pushing limits? Or are they constantly talking about the past, gossiping, making excuses, avoiding accountability? Because energy is contagious. Mindsets are contagious. If you spend enough time around average, it becomes your standard. If your crew doesn't inspire you, challenge you, or hold you to a higher level, then you're not in a circle. You're in a cage. It doesn't matter how long you've known them. Loyalty means nothing if it's loyalty to people who are keeping you stagnant. And it's not just the people, it's the habits too, the things you do on autopilot, the things you brush off as normal, how you spend your mornings, how you talk to yourself, what you consume, what you tolerate. Every little thing is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. You can't build a strong future on weak habits. You can't reach your next level living by patterns that were built for survival, not growth. If your habits don't align with your goals, then your life will always feel like a contradiction. You'll be wanting one thing while living another, and that gap, that misalignment, is where frustration and burnout live. So you've got to get intentional, ruthless even, audit your circle, audit your habits. Ask yourself honestly, are these people and patterns feeding my future or starving it? Are they keeping me sharp or keeping me small? Because every day you stay in the wrong room or repeat the wrong habits, you're putting your dreams on a slow drip. You're draining the very momentum you need to break through. And the truth is, no one's going to do that audit for you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. The future isn't built by chance. It's built by choice, and every choice either adds to your fire or puts it out. So choose the ones who pour into you, who challenge you, who believe in more for you. Choose the habits that stretch you, discipline you, prepare you. Your life moves in the direction of your standards, so raise them, because you can't afford to keep starving your future to feed your comfort. It's time to choose different, choose growth, choose alignment, choose wisely. At the end of the day, it's simple. Your life is a direct reflection of what you choose to tolerate, what you commit to, and how hard you're willing to work when nobody's watching. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or anyone's approval. It's all noise. Focus on yourself. Cut the distractions. Eliminate anything that's not pushing you forward. Build habits that align with who you want to become. Surround yourself with people who elevate your game, not keep you comfortable. And most importantly, show up every damn day, whether you feel like it or not. Because the grind doesn't care and success isn't handed out. It's earned by the ones who stay locked in, who choose discipline over drama, and who move in silence until the results speak. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Your future is watching. It's waiting. Go earn it.